Hello, my name is Matt and welcome to my home pub. You might be thinking it's more of a garage right now, and yeah, you'd be right, it is my garage. But that is what this channel is for. So I am planning on converting my garage here into a home pub. So there's a lot of work to be done, and don't expect anything major to actually be done in this video. This is sort of just explaining what's happening and getting some measurements and stuff, which is why I've got this tape measure with me, to try and plan out what exactly we're going to do. So I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what the garage is like right now. So obviously we've got our garage door down this end. We've got loads of stuff we need to get rid of. So a lot of this can just go to charity shops or be chucked away basically. Anything we are keeping, like Christmas stuff for example, we can put in the loft, and there's some stuff that needs to stay in here because this is our garage. Like, just some things need to stay in the garage, like the freezer for example, that can't really go anywhere else, and this big metal cabinet, I'm not going to bother moving this, so yeah, that's staying. But a lot of this stuff can be moved or got rid of, but I'm going to take some measurements anyway. What I've got working in terms of electricity, we've mainly got all our plugs down here, but I can obviously run extension leads or something. I'm not doing any electrics. I plan on doing everything in this project myself, so I'm not going to get anyone in to do other things, apart from maybe friends and family to help out where needed. But I'm going to do the majority of it myself. We've got lighting. Obviously it's not ideal, especially this side. Down here isn't too bad. We've got like a normal bulb, so I can probably put something a little bit brighter in there. Take this out because this isn't actually wired up, I don't think. So we'll just have this one this end. It's something a bit brighter. Put some LED lights in or something. This thing in the middle, I'm not really sure what it is. We've always just chucked things up there for storage. So I'll see what we do with this. I don't know, probably not something I'm going to take out, but definitely cover it up with something, make it look a bit more presentable. So down this end, planning on having a little bar somewhere, just along here. In terms of actual drinks and stuff, I'm hoping to put an ale tap on, because that's one of the easier things to set up. Like lager is a lot more difficult to sort of to have, because you need gas and you need a cooler and stuff. You don't need all that with ale. You can just get a little poly pin, they call it, which is a little box. It says about 20 pints, and that just goes straight to the tap, so they're very easy to set up. And then obviously we'll have some spirits and stuff, which I'll probably just mount on the wall somewhere. Not really sure. Planning on potentially putting in a stud wall. I'm not sure on that yet because it's going to be a lot of work, bearing in mind I'm going to do everything myself. Guys, I don't really know what we're doing for flooring yet. I'm going to rip all this out, I think, because it is very dirty and there's holes in it. So, but yeah, I don't know if I'll put anything else down. I might just get a big rug or something, but we'll see when we come to it. But yeah, first step is to actually clear all this stuff out, which is going to take a little while. Yeah, so gardening stuff and tools, we have a little lean-to through there, so I'm probably going to put most of the stuff in there. And then anything that we don't need regularly, like the Christmas stuff, up in the loft, because there's literally nothing up there. And try and charity shop or get rid of as much stuff as possible, basically. So other things that we're going to have in this pub/bar thing, I want some sort of music, so I want some sort of speakers set up somewhere. My stepdad has a little mini pool table, so we're going to put that down, hopefully in the front somewhere. I want a little table set up. Obviously at the bars we'll have some little bar stools, but it'd be nice to have a little table elsewhere as well. I don't plan on having loads of people around, but like 3 or 4, so as long as we can fit that many people in here comfortably and serve everyone a drink, that is more than enough for me. I also have this projector here. I have a couple of these. Don't ask, but I might fit one of those as well. I'll need a little projector screen, so it could just be that I get one of the pull down ones, put it up here somewhere, and it just pulls down in front of the garage. It'd be quite easy to put up because obviously we've got these beams and stuff everywhere. I could just screw it directly into one of those. We don't actually use this garage door, so it doesn't really matter what I do. I'm not going to get rid of it, but yeah, just basic stuff like that can stay. There's not really a problem. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. So we've got the main access door here. This has its own separate entrance down the alleyway, so you don't even need to go through the house to get to my pub. But yeah, so I need to sort some things out and take some measurements. So I'm going to take the measurements now, maybe get a few things shifted, but that'll probably be another video. So yeah, on with the measurements. So these are just going to be a rough sort of idea for the plans, so I can sort of map out where I want everything to go. Okay, so we've got 2.5 meters there. That isn't too bad. It's definitely workable. Yeah, 2.5 meters lengthwise, and then I don't know how I'm going to measure this because this tape measure is only 5 meters, so it might be a little bit of an estimate, but I'll see what I can do. Okay, so that is 5 meters and I'm pretty much here, so probably not much more than that really. Another meter or so. Yeah, so that's 5. Another meter on top of that, so about 6 meters. So I've got 6 by 2.5 there for the entire garage. So this workbench that you saw, as I mentioned, this is going to stay. Because it's got the freezer and stuff. I'm going to try and get a little fridge in somewhere. I might put that under the workbench as well, but I might put it elsewhere. I haven't decided yet. Also, that is budget depending, because I'm not buying a mini fridge. Not for full price. I'm hoping to find one on Facebook Marketplace or something. I'm trying to do this whole thing as low cost as possible, while still trying to make it nice and obviously actually look a bit like a pub. I haven't quite decided on theming yet, but I like 80s stuff, so I'm probably going to go with 80s. So this little unit here goes out 60 centimeters there. So that's not too bad. I'll probably in my planning just round it up, but yeah, it should be okay, really. Well, that's all for now. I'm going to go inside and draft up a little plan, and I'll show you my process of doing that. I should probably buy a ruler. So that is the size of the garage. It looks a lot longer than I thought, to be honest. I don't know why. When you're in there, it doesn't seem like it's that sort of shape, but apparently it is. Anyway, I've done a 1 meter to 4 centimeter ratio. So for the 0.6 meter counter, I need to go to 2.4 centimeters. So let me mark that in now. I'm not sure exactly at what point the counter turns into the cabinet, but it doesn't really matter because that's sort of space I can't use anyway, so I'm just going to put a whole line across here. This is just a rough plan anyway, that's the idea of this. This isn't going to be exactly how it's going to be. I'm going to make changes and things anyway. So the door, I don't know how, average door is probably about 1 meter. Yeah, I'd say the average door is about 1 meter wide, so I'm going to say door comes in, goes to about there. So that is the door. I'm just going to use a pen rather than getting that box out. I'm just going to say door here. like so. So that goes like that. Right, so that is our door there. We've got the garage door over this end. This doesn't really matter, as I mentioned, we don't really use it. So I don't really need to mark that in. Doesn't make a difference. So basically the door's there, we've got about a metre there. I want to leave a little bit of gap if we were to do the plan with the wall. So again, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do this. This is going to be a lot of work. I'd have to do it myself, and yeah, that'd be a bit of a pain. So I may do that. I probably won't though, to be honest with you. So if you were doing the stud wall one, the stud wall would go here. I'm just going to do a little dotted line here because, as I mentioned many times, I don't know if that's something I'm going to do yet. Now, there's benefits and drawbacks to doing this. Obviously, I'd have my own room. I wouldn't have to worry about what this bit looks like. This can just stay as it is without any changes, basically. But we need a door. We do actually have a spare door in the garage, conveniently enough, so I could very well just fit that in here if I was to do a stud wall, because that is literally spare, just sitting up against that cabinet. Now, the drawbacks I was talking about, obviously there's already a countertop here. If I was to not do this stud wall, I can use this countertop as the bar. The bar can be here, basically where the stud wall line is, and I can just stand behind here. The bar won't come out as far, so we'll have a bit more room. If this is the stud wall, I'll need a counter here, which probably got up to about there, where the pencil is. Then I need some space to actually stand in, so probably about there. And then the bar. And I'd end up with not much room, so I think, because of that, I'm going to scrap the stud wall idea. So instead, this is sort of the area which we're going to do. So this is where the bar is going to start. So I am going to remove some of these dots down this end because the bar's not going to go the whole way across the garage. A 2 metre bar will probably do. I can't imagine I'll need much longer than that. So 2 metre bar would be 8 centimetres on my scale. So that go up to there. So that would actually be most of the garage. So I don't think I can do that. So potentially a 1.5 metre bar. I'm sure that should be fine. I can't see. I'm literally only going to have one beer tap on at this point anyway, so I don't need much room. And I've just measured it in my room. That would be absolutely plenty. Okay, that looks better. So obviously that leaves a metre here for walking past, because you need to actually get past the bar to the pub area. So, as I mentioned, this would be the start of the bar. So if I draw that in there, the bar doesn't need to be massive like this. It could only be, what I said, it was 0.6, I think, meters. So this could be 0.5, 0.6, and that is absolutely fine. Because I don't have a ruler, my measurements probably aren't going to be completely accurate, but it doesn't matter. As I mentioned, this is just a rough sketch, just to get an idea of what this is actually going to look like once it's done. Okay, so that's sort of the main thing. I don't know the exact size of the pool table I mentioned earlier, so I would estimate probably 1 meter by 1 by 1.5. It's smaller than 1 by 1.5, I'm sure it is. Okay, right, so that is what we've got. Okay, sorry about that. Basically my phone ran out of battery and died. But I've just made this a little bit more clearer. I added on a couple of little bits. So I did put the cabinet in the end. It's just a rough estimate of how big it is. I think it's about 1 meter wide. So that's that. And then we have the countertop. We've got the little bar area, as you saw. I've put a little beer engine on there and a little beer mat as well, because I'm hoping to get one of those. I've seen them around quite a bit, so I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem. Hoping to fit 3 bar stools on. These stools are obviously bigger than they actually would be. I just found a 5p to draw around because it's easier than trying to draw a perfect circle. This is that little cabinet that you probably saw in the video. I don't know roughly, I don't know about where it is on the wall. Sorry, I do know about where it is. It's about there, but I don't know exactly where it is on the wall, so I've sort of lined it up with a bar just for now. I can take more measurements and line that up properly if I need to. Pool table, I've added some more details to. Doesn't really matter, but just so you know, it's a pool table, you know. I'm having to have a couple little tables. I've just put them in these corners for now. I might move those around. Doesn't really matter. These are literally just beer mats. Just so you have somewhere to put your beer down while you're playing pool. So that is basically the plan. As I mentioned, I'm going to try and get a beer fridge in, so that might go under here. It might end up going over here somewhere. Could go under the bar. I'm thinking under the bar is probably the best bet. I think it would look best, and we can just get a little extension lead running around the back of this cabinet to the socket over here. And that should be okay. What else did I mention? We might have a projector. So that bit that's hanging down would be the perfect spot to put a projector. I need to make sure there's obviously no leaks. But I could put a projector inside there, have it facing out that way, as I mentioned, onto where the garage door is, have the little drop down screen. I have one of these in my room here. I'm not going to show it in a minute. So music setup, it doesn't really matter where the speakers go. I need to get some speakers first anyway. But yeah, that is basically the plan for now, and we'll see where we go from there. Obviously, more details needed. I'm going to get some of those little spirit racks up on the wall. Probably put those along this wall somewhere, or possibly over here, but I feel like this might be a bit too far from the bar. I'm not sure, we'll see. But they'll go either up here if I'm using this counter for stuff, or on the wall over here, depending on how things go. But yeah, that is basically the plan for now, and that is the end of today's video. Hopefully the next video we'll be making a start on actually clearing out the garage, getting rid of some of the stuff. So hope to see you then, but for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye!